Where's Wayne Miller when you need him? Because there are a few rabbles here in the Lair. We are one bye round down, and it was a disaster for some in Supercoach round 12. This is the Phantom speaking. Welcome back to the Phantom's Lair podcast. Now, there are some rabbles in the Lair, my team included. The Chief is more embarrassing and unacceptable, like Dean Cox said about the Swans. The hero of the podcast, the best bloke on the podcast. Look at him if you are watching on the Code Sports YouTube channel. He's done it. The blonde is in. 5 names. Simeon, Kingsley, Thomas, Wilson. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looks good.
Yeah, that's good.
And backed it up as well with the top of the pod score.
Yeah. No, maybe blonde 5 names in Supercoach is like LeBron without a headband, no headband LeBron, all that kind of thing. I reckon this could be the turning point of my season.
Again, if you aren't watching, if you don't watch the podcast on the Code Sports YouTube channel, get on there, like and subscribe now. Check out 5 names. It's thanks to all of our loyal Lair listeners for leaving us the ratings. He's gone and done it. Chief, looking good, isn't he?
Oh, he's looking great. It's an upgrade. I can see why you wanted to do it. I can see why you want to do it. It's actually a good look. Probably not as Sam Flanders preseason-esque as I had hoped, but it's a very nice look. So well done for doing it, and keen for the next challenge, whatever we decide. I've actually
come up with an idea.
Oh wow, okay.
We get to because I already get 1,000.
Yep.
All right.
Get 1,000.
We haven't talked about this, by the way.
Dossie has to release the whole back catalogue of all the songs that he's made.
No, I don't think that's fit for air these days, but could maybe make a new one just for you, Sim.
Yeah, a song. I like it.
Yeah.
But what wasn't looking good on the weekend was your team. Chief.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
it was a hard week.
It was tough. It was real tough. I don't know how many of you out there were struggling to scrape the 18, but that was certainly what I was doing, and boy, was I scraping. I was, in fact, let's
start up. You were Bop. The king of Bop by a long way. Well, not a long way, but,
definitely worthy.
This is the worst ever score? Worst ever Supercoach score?
I think it would have to be. Oof. I think it would have to be. I've got to actually switch over. I was on my NRL Supercoach. I've just given up. 1562. I was 95,665th for the round, and it's dropped me down 4,000 ranking spots overall. So for those that weren't following along, I knew that I was going to have a tough week. I had surprisingly planned for the buys, but then we had a few of those bullets. We had a Zach Reid injury. I was planning on him playing. I had to do a few swap outs there due to injuries. I was going to just scrape 18. But my 3 18 players that came through for me in the end, I was flying early. 120 from Matty Rao. I'll talk about my heroes soon, but a couple of 120s, a couple of 110s to start the round. I was flying. I was up and about. Then to bring me home strong, I had a Riley Bice 9 and then followed it up with a Philippou 5.
Ooh.
And then Bo Allen, I was just hoping for a heartbeat from Bo. I wasn't expecting for much. I was very much expecting him to be sub. But he came on and delivered me a beautiful 3 as well. So 3 sub 10 scores out of my 18. And yeah, that's where we're at.
And he was ready to give it in, wasn't he, 5 names?
Oh, yeah.
I was.
He was going to come in silent protest. He weren't going to talk today.
No, but thankfully, as I was going through this nightmare, a song popped on the TV and it just cheered me up. it got me up and about. I'm incredibly happy to be here, boys.
Pretty happy with your own work on social.
This just cheers you up.
We need it.
Gets you ready to go for another week. And I'm ready. I'm back here, boys. I'm good to go.
Before we get the full rundown, 5 names is a huge week.
Yeah,
I was middle of the pod, 1670. Wasn't much better.
I'll tell you what, that's what made me feel so much better of the weekend as well.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
2,500 one week, 1,670 the next week.
Yep.
Pretty much lost all ground that I made up last week. Pushed back outside the top 1,000.
Yeah.
Not good.
I'll tell you what, if you had done well, I don't think it would have come in.
Not good.
We got to address the elephant in the room here.
Okay, what do we?
We had the Joad on.
We did.
And he said, don't bring in Bont before the buys. What did you two do?
We did it.
Quietly, have you seen the goat score on the weekend?
I haven't.
I think we should mention the goat.
It did ruin my buy structure, so it did.
It's like it wasn't like you were warned or
I'm
anything.
fine. I'm ready to go. Let's hear about your
King
week.
of bloke,
though, 'cause
come on.
You are the smuggest going
Yeah,
at the moment.
You a big trade in from you. You led the charge on the huge trade in on Thursday night.
I did.
Someone copied
Oh,
you.
get out of here.
Jordan, so
Your man.
I scored 1871.
That's a big score.
And after going down 4,000 spots the week before, I've climbed back up 2,249. So I'm getting close to Dossie.
What's your ranking now?
6,715.
I think this is a good story as well for Supercoaches. Last week, he was down in the dumps, ready to give it in.
Yep.
Didn't want to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Pulled through and delivered. You're
And
back.
Yeah. And, it's just some good moves. I mean, backed my gun in with a big pod from
Ooh.
round one in Jai Caldwell from
No,
123.
no.
Your man?
My man.
Yep.
My boy.
Come on. Let's get to heroes and villains for this, but we need to talk about this. My hero and my boy for the week, Jai Caldwell. My pick that I decided, all me, this Jai Caldwell pick. We could go through the text message. I've got receipts.
Did you not? Did you get the inspiration from unique names with 5 names?
Never didn't even see the second.
It was round one. I told you after round one.
I clipped it up, but I didn't say it. No. Look, I think we're both happy. We're both happy. We'll share the pod.
Well done.
We'll share the pod. Thank you. Jai Caldwell. We looked at some of the numbers. I happened to share them with Sim. And then we jumped on.
I didn't realise how cheap he was, to be
Yeah,
honest.
how good.
Yeah.
123. We can share this hero.
Yep. I'm with you. Let's do it.
What a call. Over 70% centre bounces again. He's killing it in that Bombers midfield, and still a point of difference option if you want to jump on, although it's tough now that we're in the bye rounds to jump on a player who's yet to have their bye. Phants, have you got a hero for us?
Got a hero. Now, just keeping on theme for the week. It's all about our man, Simeon Kingsley Thomas Wilson. How about Thomas Simsy Wilson from the Tigers?
I thought I was just going to be the hero. That right?
Now, finished on 69, but was pushing 80 in the last quarter, faded out, was great. If he could kick straight, he would have been a Supercoach ton. Now, I had 12 scores of 69 or less. He scored 69, pulled through when I needed it, and importantly, pushed his break even back down because I'm going to trade him when Richmond have the bye. So I need all the money I can get. So Thomas Simsy, now here's my hero this week. Thomas Wilson is just my hero in general. So big week for the Thomas Simsies.
My hero, actually, I'll do a different one, even though Caldwell was there.
Because he was my pick.
Yeah, Jordan Clark.
Yeah,
just
nice.
The 143.
Huge.
In the wet as well.
Mm.
On the Gold Coast. Yeah, that was a nice little thing to come back to on Saturday. Yeah.
Be very happy with that. You got a villain, even though you had a big week?
Yep. My villain, Chad Warner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sydney were a rabble.
Yep.
Hey, are you allowed to say that?
Yes, I'm allowed to say it. I think everyone's allowed to say it. It's not disrespectful. 58 points.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
You got some numbers, I know.
I do, no, but just on the rabble, go on the rabble. He's our man, just really making a name for himself, just having I'll say it in a minute, but Chad Warner, 12 contested possessions, 12 clearances, good numbers.
Yeah, you would think that was a big score.
12% kicking efficiency as well. 12. Had 16 kicks. 2 of them went to a player in the same jumper.
Wow.
Disappointing.
Yeah, incredible. Well, I don't think my villain could go to anyone else bar the poo. I'm sorry. I mean, he's a young player. I back him in to be a great player down the line. But first Tom Stewart, then I had the poo. Just 2 shocking things. Now, Sim, go. Well, I've got this button here. It says "Do not press."
Oh, yeah.
It might be time to chuck that one in. It was the poo. Okay, I was not happy with that. It's a break glass in case of emergency button. We had to push it there. So the poo with 5 in 5 minutes. He had a calf coming into the game, and they still played him off within 5 minutes. So yeah,
selfish.
He's my villain.
Selfish there from the poo.
Unfortunately.
Tommy, how about Tommy Stewart? Supercoach ton, as predicted in the top Phants targets, top 5 last week.
Well.
Got my villain?
Yeah, go on.
Brad Scott. Now, Essendon Football Club have been in and out of the villain segment. Zach Merritt's gone again because Brad Scott. So, where would you rank Zach Merritt as a midfield in the comp? Supercoach's side.
Way up there.
Yep. Easy
Way up
top 10.
Yeah, pretty close.
4 centre bounces on the weekend. 4. Even when the game was on the line, taking kick-ins, which we like. It's good.
7 kick-ins.
We like it.
Big.
But it worked the week before. 3 quarters in the midfield to set up the game, then go behind the ball and save it. Started there, didn't go in. Bombers lost. Merritt lost. I lost. Brad Scott. Feeling this week. Almost in the pan. But I've got another coach lined up in the pan. But, speaking of disrespect, absolutely disrespected our man. So he needs to be called out a bit later.
Alrighty, well, Phants, let's get into the meat of the show, shall we? Got to get into some round 13 strategy. So we've made it through one round of the buys. Obviously, some only just have made it through. But look, it gets better from here. This week is a beautiful week, I think, out of the buy rounds. It is the easiest buy round. We've only got 2 teams on the buy, Fremantle and St Kilda, but
Fair few relevant players.
there might be a few people even still struggling. I was looking at the names. Brayshaw, Sarong, Luke Jackson, Geordie Clark, Erasmus, Sinclair, Nasiah, Rowan Marshall, Jack McRae, if you held, and even Matthias Filippo. There's a lot of relevant names this week, but I think overall, hopefully, you should be able to cover and hopefully get an 18 there. And even with the 3 trades, we got some options for you to bring in. I think you should be okay. So it's only 2 teams on the buy, a bit easier than last week.
At least Caleb Strong won't be outscored by Andy Brayshaw this week. Thankfully.
That's it. So anyway, we want to just talk about some of the plans. Now, if you're new to Supercoach or you forgot, best 18 throughout the entire buy rounds. That's all the way through to round 16 this year. We get 3 trades a week during this whole period, and then 4 if you randomly still have a boost. I'd love to have a boost. If you do, you can use that still. And then also, we're talking sort of overall ranking. If you're playing for league, it's totally fine just to hold through these buys or use a few less trades here and there. We are talking about trying to chase overall rank here mostly. So we're talking about, making your trades, using those up if you need to, and really trying to boost through the ranking. So just a few notes there. And in general, from here, strategy. So last week we were going into the buys. It was the first week of the buys. There's no players coming off the buy. You've got to trade into the buy round players. Now, we turn our focus and Phants, the strategy from here is to bring in players coming off the buy. So last week, the teams that were on the buy that we'll be talking mostly about here, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, Carlton and North Melbourne, fresh off the buy. These are the players we want to target.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're right there.
My trade plan has been thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Now, we've got some issues to talk about. Ryan Maric as well, and break-evens and, things we didn't expect. As we mentioned last week, things popped up in the first week. Going to force some changes to our plans, but you're right. The players coming back off the bye, Marcus Bontempelli, you and I jumped on a couple of weeks ago, 5 names, still bagging us this morning about it, still referencing the GOAT again. Could you go up to him? Could you spend the money? Could you use a Ryan Maric now that huge break even, going to lose some price, not featuring in defence? We're going to talk about it a bit later.
Yep.
Is he viable now to hold West Coast? Obviously, you don't have a buy for a couple of weeks. Is he the way up to Marcus Bontempelli? We thought trading Jack McRae was the option, the only way to get up to Marcus Bontempelli. Is Ryan Maric now the way for non-owners of Bont to get up there?
I think it's the perfect time to jump into a segment, Phants. It's been a while since we hit up your farm. Now, we're jumping ahead. I think this is good, though. We need to know who to cull before we can jump on who we're going to bring in. Ryan Maric is the first question.
Oh, I jumped the run sheet, sorry.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Yep.
We're at the farm. We're at the farm now.
I'm rattled.
We're on the tractor.
Rabble. I'm a rabble.
Yeah.
We're on the tractor. We're looking at Ryan Maric, as you said. What do you think, Sim? We've been told by the listeners to involve you more.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
I think it was your burner last
He's
week.
the hero.
on
Shout out
Show.
to
Look at him.
shout out to
Look at him.
mate, that was good. Yeah, and making me try to buy people beers and all that. I'm bullying. And I think you trade him.
Yeah, not happy with that role. It's a sad time because he's our boy.
Yeah, I know.
You two went for a beer as well without me on Friday night. Didn't
We
you?
did. We've formed an alliance, mate.
Oh,
So what's that? Yeah, as a fellow blonde-haired guy, it's sad to see.
Unfortunately,
What do you think?
it was subbed out twice in a row. It was the sub to start the season. They've now got, we'll talk about mid-season draft day. I think he's a great option potentially to go early on if you're going to go on early on a rookie in McCarthy, Tom McCarthy from the Weagles, who's just got drafted in the mid-season draft. I think he's going to be playing in defence now, and Ryan Maric has moved on to that wing. So, yeah, I think it's fine to go.
Cool.
I think there's plenty of other players you could cull, though, ahead of him if you have these players as well.
I thought Maric was the perfect trade out when Westco has the bye. Carry him through the first 3 bye rounds, and again, if his premium scoring remained playing across halfback, then you'd consider keeping him. But
He's not scoring 155.
breaking 155, even the score of 90, he's dropping another 30k. He could potentially be back under 400k if it doesn't work out by the time the Eagles bye comes, which you're losing all the value there. We know how important cash generation is. So I'm going to almost change my plans, I reckon, to move him on. Bring forward an upgrade that maybe I was going to do when the Eagles had their bye. Do it now or use Maric's money because we're going to lose it.
Yeah, I think that's a great question across these buys. Would you prefer to get rid of deadweight rookie? Like let's talk about the Hustwaits, the Clay Halls, these sort of players that have no more cash to be made, or because they're not going to play. Basically, if they played, they would. If you are confident they're not going to get a game for the rest of the season, or at least for long enough for it not to matter in SuperCoach, would you jump off the players that are going down so you can at least get somewhere? And that's where you're leaning?
I think so.
What about you? 5
Same.
names?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you're jumping off the players with cash on their head before you start targeting these red dots.
Because it is unfortunate. We've got, another one, Levi Ashcroft getting subbed out. He's gone down a fair bit as well, but I mean, his break-even is probably a bit more achievable than Maric's at the moment. But yeah, it's you think you still take the money and run. We had a good time.
Break even is right on his average. So Levi Ashcroft averages 77. Break even 77 this week.
He's got to hope that he doesn't get stopped.
Well, I've got a few more names on the farm. These are the names that people are trading out, and we're going to go back to our old school segment style.
Oh,
stay or trade. I think we switched it to cull or keep, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Keep or cull. And I think, honestly, most of these are cull, but let's just go through quickly one by one. I'll start with 5 names. Caden Cleary, sub on the weekend.
Carl.
Riley Bice, should have done it weeks ago.
should have done it weeks ago. Does he? Carl.
Levi Ashcroft, a bit tougher.
Keep. I think
Yeah.
Maric is the priority of it. If you've got nothing else, you can, but I think you keep him over Maric or the other guys you mentioned so far.
Okay. So we've already talked about Maric. I had him on there. He is one of the most traded out players as well. Matt Flynn.
What did he actually score?
What did he score?
Yeah, we'll check that one, Phants.
Matty Flynn against the Cats on Sunday late game, 79.
I'd be happy holding to his buy.
I think
same.
so.
Yeah.
You need players.
Keep for that
If
one.
you've got him now, if you've kept him this long, probably hold to the buy.
It's tough. He's in your flex, though, if he's in your flex, just because he's taken that spot. But, yeah. Xavier Lindsay.
Pretty good.
So in the 50s again. His break-even's only 30 odd, I believe, this week.
51.
Oh, it's 51. Yeah. A bit tougher.
Play the Pies on the King's birthday.
I'm happy to cull. Where are you at? 5 names?
Yeah, probably happy to Carl as well.
Happy to cull, but I think
how much more is he going to make?
you're not losing out, but also if you need a player. Not this week, maybe next week. They play again. They get play Port, Adelaide Oval, then they have the bye. So again, look ahead, see how many players you've got playing. Again, like we said last week, though, all about premium count. I think the rookies, as the Chief learnt, didn't matter if you didn't have 18, you had 15 and an extra premium, you would have outscored what you did. So
they can always be sub. That's the lesson. They can always be sub or be subbed. So and just score poorly.
If you turn Xavier Lindsay into a premium, then you're going to be better off for the buy rounds anyway.
And last couple, Luke Trainer.
Yeah,
it's sad. Sad.
Train the truther.
He went last week.
Yep.
Yeah. And finally, this is on the list. Tejas Philippo.
Yeah, Carl. You have to Carl.
286k.
Could become a nice
It's just
buy.
worth just holding at that point. for the few owners that are out there. This is just for you guys and me.
I still say cull. I just make the cash, take the cash.
I think I'm going to keep it. They said after the game, he's probably right straight after the bye. He's fine. Like,
Yeah, he's doing really well.
It looked pretty bad when he pinged the calf.
Probably keep good buy. So he's going to be there for the when you might be a little bit short.
I'd probably rather get rid of the, if you've got an El Hawley or a Hustwaite, Cooper Simpson, if you're holding him, Tommy Gross.
I'm with you.
All right, now back to the targets, fans. We will get to your top targets for the week, but I've got a couple of, it's a new segment. Now, I don't have a sting for this one, unfortunately, but fresh legs. Fresh legs, players coming off the bye to target. So we've just culled these guys at the farm. Time to bring in some fresh meat with fresh legs. We'll go team by team, and I just want to get your thoughts.
It's missing a sting.
I know, yeah. I'll get one for next week. Let's start with the dogs. Bulldogs fresh off the bye, and obviously there's one big name. Now, you followed the GOAT's advice. You don't have him. Is the Bont the guy this week for everyone to be looking at?
I think I'll try to get him in. Are
you happy paying that price, I think, is the question people are asking. Obviously, he's still, I think I would venture to say, one of the most traded in players this week. I'll check. Of course he will be. But you're happy to pay the big old price tag for Bont, knowing that you're going to get this production for the rest of the season.
Is he going to go down that much?
No.
Don't think he is.
Third most traded in player this week.
Libba's good buying too, but he's now up to $5.95 as well. He's not that much, 46, 7, 8K.
Yeah.
Even Ed Richards, Pure alumni.
602,
602.
Unless Bont's break-even's in the 170s, and even then sometimes, you just ignore it. At 137, he can breeze through that, can't he?
Yeah, but if you can't get to him, then Libba.
Yeah, because where are you going to get cash? Yeah. Libba is there. Ed Richards, another option. So I've sort of
Bailey Dale?
Libba or Richards? Libba for me.
Yeah, there's something nice about fun about only Libba.
And I think teams need to start putting some more attention into Ed Richards. I think
they tagged him the week before the bye, and he's still. I think that was O'Sheen Mullen tagged him, one of the harder taggers this year.
And he was okay for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Blistering last quarter down the Cattery from
I'm wondering what's Treloar's role going to be in this side, because he is coming back, I think, this week.
Yep. Hawks, Thursday night.
I'm wondering what his role is going to be. So last time I think he played, he wasn't as much in the centre bounce rotation, but it'll be interesting because I think one of those two guys, like Bont, is just going to be, maybe it's Bont that moves forward a bit more and allows these guys to cook in there, but I would imagine that it would be one of Libba or Ed Richards that sort of gets a little bit less of the pie. Or maybe it's just Treloar. Maybe Treloar now just plays forward and lets these guys continue to play well because that's how they've been going all season. So interesting. I think out of those two, I'm going Ed Richards, and it's probably just the my ageism there. Just I don't want to go the old. If there's two guys pretty similar, I'm going the younger.
You did
guy.
bag Libba the other week.
I did
when we talked about him.
The other guys from Western Bulldogs, so those are guys I've considered as potential keepers, and we'd expect Bont to be. The other guys would obviously be keepers in your team. I'm just talking about maybe top of their line type keepers. The other guys who could be Tim English, Sam Darcy, and then I've put Treloar and Kennedy in here in a different category as well.
Have you got Bailey Dale there?
Bailey Dale actually was in the top category. Just
trying to hide him. A good run at Marvel.
Bailey Dale, I think, he's cheaper too, isn't he? I think
good buying, $5.50.
I mean, I'm an owner. I think he's a great buy.
Yeah, especially their run, all those games at Marvel.
Keen to see, wait for Phants top targets, and if he makes an appearance there, they've got a great run, especially for defenders there. Any interest in the other guys like a Tim English, a Sam Darcy, who's going to be cheap as chips in a couple of weeks? You don't go this week, 194 break even. He's not playing this week, but he's back. He's apparently back next week.
What?
194 break even. Well, they're targeting a return there, which is crazy to think.
Insane.
He's obviously on the radar, but Tim English, Treloar, or Kennedy? You guys?
Kennedy, maybe.
I like Kennedy, but he's been great as a recruit. Consistent, but is he just below the other forward? Is he just below that top line of forwards?
He also could be the one that could the Treloar could move out because he could play more forward.
Yeah.
Averaging 99 points per game this year, 3 sub-tons in a row. Not going to fall off the cliff, but maybe averages 98 from here.
Yeah. Probably a nice pod move for if you want to go a little bit of a, let's find the sting here as well.
I've got a few people on him.
Not him, but
No.
if you did want to go a little bit of a,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
he could be an option.
Yeah.
If you're keen to go that path. All right, let's get into some Port Adelaide players. Fresh legs from Port. Now I've got this again, potential top liners. So guys that could be in the top of their line that really
Now-
high on our target list.
We need to ask the biggest question off the top.
Mhm.
Now, man,
Me.
the horny one.
Oh yeah, I've got a little new sting to this.
The horny one.
Mhm.
5 names. You've been down at Port Adelaide today on Monday.
Yep.
The horny one said he felt good. Said he was only going to miss 1 game. That would mean he's back this week.
So
right?
hang on.
Right?
Is this
Is he back?
some breaking news?
Is he back?
He's more unlikely than likely to play this weekend.
Oh,
He was running. He was actually doing some running. Him and Dusty. I know.
lied to us. Did he?
Yeah, I think they're going to just because he might be like touch and go, but I reckon they're going to err on the side of caution with him, especially going to Canberra. It's going to be real cold, and you don't want to go there with a bad hamstring.
That's almost do not press button
that
type
is-
territory, that one. That's no good to hear.
No good.
I needed.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
That's why we kept him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, my bad.
Not happy.
Have to wait another week for.
Forget Port. Forget Port.
Oh.
We're moving on from Port.
All right. Well, he's 499k with 158 break even though. So, I mean, he's going to be a nice target in a couple of weeks
Yes,
then.
he is.
If he's not going to come back this week. Oh, that's sad news. Hopefully he does. Hopefully, breaking news doesn't come to fruition.
You questioning the great 5 names?
Never.
Fair enough.
Never.
I hope I'm wrong.
Never. Zak Butters, 585k. I think he's the guy
Ooh.
we're all dying to get into our teams,
Not this week.
but not this week.
No. And I like to go early, and I've went early to forget about break even. Jack Sinclair, Zach Maric just got him in. It worked. This one's a bit too high, especially with potential Toby Bedford tag
196 break even. Too high.
When
next
do
week.
you bring him in?
Absolutely next week.
Even if breaking is hard, because is it Melbourne the week after? If I'm
I just think, I mean, if he scores this week, say he does get a tag, even if he scores a low ton, or if he scores in the 90s, he's going down by 50k. He's down to 540.
I'm saying he could
But the
fall
break
lower.
even's not going to be 180 or 90 again. He could fall lower, but then I reckon we're only talking 20 or 30k. It's that buy round as well. There'll be more teams in the buy. You'll need a premium upgrade. You don't need to make a premium upgrade this week.
What break even would you say no? Like realistically, 150?
No, I'm picking him next week.
Okay, regardless.
Because
Good to
he
know.
goes Melbourne.
This is scores
Oh,
40.
Clayton,
on the
I mean-
weekend.
Yeah.
Clayton Oliver tag, because apparently who knows if he actually tags. Clary run with him, and then is it a week after Sydney?
Swans. We've got 3 Adelaide Oval games after the Giants.
Yeah, and then
Get him
James
in.
Jordan surely tags him then. I'm saying
Well, I was hoping James Jordan tagged Jordan Dawson. Didn't happen.
All right, one to watch though. Butters very high.
But
on
yes,
our
no,
radar.
fair point.
Very high on our radar.
yeah.
Make sure, well, then in that case,
Plan.
sort of plan for that one. Plan for that one next week, Phants is saying. Connor Rozier at 531k, 131 break even.
defender as well.
Defender now, yep. Got that status. What do you think in 5 names?
Yeah. I mean, you should have him already.
If you don't,
Go Butters over him, but should be high in your targets.
Is he a top 6 defender, Connor Rosie?
I think so. At the moment,
if he
yeah.
holds the defender role, like if he's going to get thrown around a bit, I don't know.
Does
He
he?
looks tremendous when he's playing
Oh.
defense though. But I mean, it's more Port, isn't it, at the moment?
Mm.
But does he outdo Jack Sinclair, Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, Dane Zorko, Nick Martin, Jordan Clark, Nasiah Wanganeen Miller, Bailey Dale, Max Holmes?
He could.
Where's he fit in? I'm just a question. It's just a.
So it's more of if you've got him, you're happy. If you're not, you're probably not going there.
I think so. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm just saying we don't have many options off the buy, especially in defense.
Yeah.
If you're looking for someone in defense, would it be, say, let's go like between, I mean, I'm not looking, I don't think there's really any other defender options on the other teams off the buy being Carlton and North Melbourne. So
What-
it would really be between him and Bailey Dale.
Yeah. So what do you think? Dale or Rosie if you don't have him?
And you need a defender.
Dale's run just. Yeah.
Me
That's
too.
what I'd say. The other one, I mean, I don't know if you got like Miles Bergman if you're strapped for cash.
Okay. Yep. another option there. He is on my other guys for Port, so not a top line keeper, but if you sort of
2K.
need some, if you're running out of cash, Dante Vicentini as well. Is it too late for him? 292K, 25 break even. Does he continue to play up?
I think he does. I actually think he does continue to play in the ruck.
Going with the youth over the suite.
Yep.
Okay. Let's get into Carlton. Top liners, I only have one here at the moment.
Scathing.
Is it George Hewitt?
It's top of the line. It's only because the others are mids.
Is it George Hewitt?
It's not.
Adam Chera?
It's not. And I guess I'm sort of being a little bit I'm giving a bit of leeway to this top line because I'm saying flex. So I think top 2 rucks are going to be Xerri and Gorn.
Yep.
TDK. 528K at the moment. 131 break even. He's got 110 average to his name. Finished slow before the bye. 88 over his 3 before the bye. And obviously he missed a game in between as well with that larynx injury.
Yep.
His run coming up for Ruckman is incredible. Incredible. He plays Essendon and Port twice on the run home, who barely have a Ruckman. Sorry, Dante. And sorry, Goldie. And slash do they even get a new mid-season draft?
Aegis. You are Aegis, aren't you? Jeez.
Sorry.
Or Goldie.
Look, TDK is going to, if he is back to his early season form, which I hope the break will do that, I'd swallow my pride and go back there. You know I love my TDK. He is my top, let's wait for Phants top targets, but he'd be almost my top target. I had him in my little plans. You guys saw I sent you a message, my little nuffy. I had my notepad out on the weekend. Yeah. Had a day off late last week, I think Thursday.
Time well spent.
Busted out the notepad and did my buy around planning. So always on the clock. Oh, does he? TDK though, you guys' thoughts?
Yeah. Could be an option. I think you'd look at maybe upgrading other players first in terms of like midfield defenders, actually get those top guys in. But yeah, as a flex, definitely an option.
I like it. Given we're going to be strapped for cash, we've spoken about the cash generation problems we've had, especially if you want to get up to a Bont or you're going to go for a Zak Butters the next couple of weeks. You're going to have to go a little bit cheaper to finish your team, I think, coming out the other side of the buys. Given the rookies we've got, maybe we might be saved by some mid-season draftees, but I'm looking at Tom De Koning as well. Maybe this week, maybe at some point, breaking 131, probably going to hover at the same price. I like him to help me finish the team. We're not going to be able to make 3 or 4 final upgrades all at the top price.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of value in there.
Also, on mid-season draftees, wouldn't be surprised if was it Ewan McKinley and Manny Liddy?
Breaking news. Woo.
They both play for Port at some time this year.
Ooh. Manny Liddy ball magnet as well. Used to play for Sturt, went to Central, big Stanford Junior under 18 numbers as well, and followed up at league level too. So,
wouldn't be surprised on one.
Now, am I being a bit harsh on the other guys I've got from Carlton here? You mentioned a George Hewitt. Adam Chera at 513K actually could be all right buying. As I said, they've got a pretty nice run, 116 in his last 3 if you didn't start him and you don't still own Adam Chera. Sam Walsh is very cheap, under 500K, which is incredible for Walsh, but also just not in the form that we know Sam Walsh can be in. Paddy Cripps, 528K, 107 in his last 3. No interest there. And even the Kernos and Mackays are cheap as well, but you prefer the other options here. These guys aren't top liners.
Where's Wayne Miller when you need him? They're a rabble too.
One sneaky, I do want to actually, I don't know if you've got this guy.
No.
No? All right. Jump in if, Bossy with a little pew-pew.
You try,
I know. I already know who it is.
You're trying to safeguard yourself against copying from his other guy, Caldwell. You're trying to get ahead now, trying to steal his segment.
Drive with me. I'll bring out the receipts if I have to. Sam Doherty, 386K.
Yeah, I knew you do that.
Oh, jeez.
386K.
What happened? What about his age?
73 break even. Only just over 30. It's a good age. 118 pre-buy, playing half back. Now, he's only got mid status at the moment. This guy has averaged 100 plus multiple seasons playing that halfback role. There was an article out saying that he's clarified his role with Michael Voss, and that's why it was a mutual decision to go back to the VFL and play halfback. Came back in that halfback role, 118. That's where he wants to play. That's where they think he can establish and maintain his role at this age.
It's tempting.
So
is he in their best team?
I think he is. And I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's what the conversation was about. So if we see him named this week and he's in halfback, because that's where he's going, I believe that's where he'll be playing if he continues to play in the team. Look, if you are really strapped for cash or if you're trying to get rid of those deadweight rookies, you've got nothing else to do. You've already got a Bont. You've already got a Bailey Dale, like myself. You want to get some cash back on the field. Maybe you want to switch a Philippo across. Sam Doherty is my pupil. All right, North Melbourne.
All right, hit the old pupil.
Oh, North
here we
Melbourne.
go. Unique names with 5 names jumping in.
LDU.
Ooh, there it is.
Pew, pew, pew.
I reckon, just over 500K. I reckon he's one of those guys that, if I might be completely wrong here, seems to always have a better second half of the year.
He does. Yeah,
Yep.
traditionally has.
Traditionally has. So yeah, I think he's maybe building a little bit. Got a decent little run coming up as well, I believe.
500K, 507K.
Yeah.
That is cheap for a guy that, basically spends every minute of his time on ground in the midfield.
Has a ceiling as well. Has a big ceiling. So yeah, his next couple of games are West Coast, Freo, Carlton, Hawthorn, Bulldogs.
Probably a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, a bit of a misbag.
Tigers again.
Yeah,
Coming up.
Yeah, it's got the
Saints.
Tigers.
I don't mind it. He's cheap. Look, you're not spending much for him, eh?
No.
507K.
And you got, like I said, we're going to need someone like this maybe to finish your team.
If he's like your M8 or even your flex or something, you're not really.
Nah, exactly. Like you said, he has had a ceiling. He hasn't hit those too many of them this year, but has gone those 140s in the past.
Yeah.
Tristan Xerri, 731K, 160 break even. If you don't have him, you can't go there. Can you? I mean, that's more than the Bont.
It says he is so good. He is.
It's good.
Yeah. And you can't go Harry Sheezel. We got him on here. I don't think you can go him yet.
No,
Big break
516K,
even. Just got to wait to see how he goes.
Yeah.
And you also can't trade him out now that you've held him if you do have him still. So.
Same with Caleb Daniel.
All about Caleb Daniel. I know our friend,
He
the
was-
show again, our Peyton, breaking in with our Peyton back on Wednesday, mentioned and tweeted, can we go back to him even though you've traded him out?
Or
24K coming off the buy.
I don't think you should have traded him.
I traded him.
Oh.
I thought I was thinking to myself, Philippo will be my final forward at 5. I wouldn't trade him back in. No. There was a reason if you traded him out. There's a reason you traded him out. I think his only top, 100 plus scores were in the first 6 weeks.
He's not gone 110
110
from
season.
here.
I think he's more he's probably going to be serviceable if he retains this role, and you're not going to trade him out. But if you've kept him, that's why I got rid of him. He hasn't shown the ceiling that you were hoping for to be a keeper. And we've got a lot of forward options now, I think.
I think it's just a final upgrade. I think you just probably got other things to really do with your teams before getting rid of him.
Yeah. So I had some fresh legs options. Now, finally, some targets here to consider. Can you even consider Phantom players that are still got their buy to come if they provide enough value and if your team is set up in a way that you're okay this week for players and you just want to get the value in your team? Or maybe, as we mentioned off the top, you're playing for league, you just want to bring in some value. Doesn't matter about the buys.
Sorry, can I just shout out another North Melbourne player?
Mhm.
If you are really, 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 really strapped for cash, Riley Hardman. I don't know. I don't know if you saw last game against the Pies. His role was really good.
What's the price out there?
He's 280,
Big. He had a big ton.
119 against Collingwood. He was. They were definitely just get the ball and rack up the ball off halfback. So if you are really, really struggling
For a defender? You
Straight
don't like
swap
those
for-
other options? Yeah.
Good boy.
If you want to bank the cash for if you want to bank the cash for for your Butters next week, for instance, as well. Yeah. Don't hate it. So we've got the fresh legs, and this next segment is, as I said, players with still the buy to come. This is what we call the Dossie's hammy.
Oh,
Worn out.
How is it?
Worn out, but still plenty of value left in the legs there as well. So players still with the buy to come. Jai Caldwell, our man.
Yeah.
421K, 21 break even. Is it too late? That's cheap buying.
He's on the last buy, isn't he? I think if you guys are still on the last buy, you can still bring him in.
I think the break even there with him too.
Yeah.
420K. You wouldn't want to be buying Jai Caldwell at 500K, I don't think. So
Any concern with a Parish potential inclusion to
I mean, he's
disrupt that midfield?
I think he's cheap enough to not worry about it.
Are we concerned that he scored 80 points of his 120 in one quarter? Great quarter, third one.
Good quarter.
Record-breaking quarter.
Huge.
Are you worried? He's not going to have a record quarter every week, is he?
No, and I mean, he had some attention in the last quarter after that as well, which sort of curtailed an even bigger score. I think that just, the fact that they've moved Merritt out, it's just an option. Like when he plays midfield, and I did the data last week, I haven't looked at it, the updated version, but basically when he spends 60 to 70% plus in the midfield, this guy's like a top line midfielder. He's like 110 to 120 guy. So history, and it's a smallish sample, but it's over 2 seasons. I think it's about 13 games now where we've seen him 60% plus. He's like 110, 115 guy, okay? So at 420K, I think that's great buying. Now, he doesn't have the last buy. He's got the... Oh, no, he does.
Yeah,
round 16.
Buy,
round 16.
So you pick him as a keeper from here?
Yeah.
I think you kind of hope.
Yeah.
And, if you've got if something goes wrong or if he gets injured, you hope you have a trade to fix. But I think he could get, up mid 500K. So you're probably making 100K is rare this year on these guys. Like you're doing it on a potential primo keeper. I love it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Some other Dossie Hammy picks. Max Holmes, 519K, 75 break even there with a really nice run to come.
Yeah, I think you can.
Now you're still going your Bailey Dales over him.
Yes.
Because he's got the buy.
Yeah. But he has got the last buy as well. So it does put,
So again, league, you're probably considering Holmes in that sense.
You got one more week, yep.
Nick Dacos,
Bombers
I'll
and
just
MCG
go
in a
through
couple
these
weeks.
3 and you guys tell me Nick Dacos at 535K.
What's his break even?
Break even now under 196.
Buy next week, though.
Yeah.
I think you have to wait now.
Yep. He's got the buy coming up.
Because after the buy, St Kilda, West Coast, Carlton.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'd wait till after his buy.
Matt Rao, 519K. He's got a 68 break even this week. He's averaging 122 in his last 3. As an owner, I would say wait.
Yeah,
but he's got the buy next week as well.
Yeah.
But he's going to make some cash this week. And lastly, Lockie Whitfield, 552K, 132 break even. You said a buy last week. Is it still an option this week?
I think Dale. He was back. Now, featured forward high up the ground again, like he would feel, but then was definitely back behind the ball in the second half when the Giants really got going. So hopefully that's enough for Adam Kingsley to realise that's where he belongs.
Continuing our segment from last week, you mentioned a player already, fans, but some red flags. Red flags coming in.
Yep.
Alarm bells are ringing. And these numbers are from Fantasy Freako, and Al Payton do a weekly stats article. I'll put the link in the description, but you can also find it on the SuperCoach News tab on your app or via Code Sports. You mentioned Ryan Maric, 0 kick-ins for the first time this season on the weekend, playing on the wing, then subbed out. Concerns we've already said. Unfortunately, sad times, but our man may be time to trade. For now, hopefully gets the prime role in the future and we can bring him back in as a starter next season. Isaac Rankin, though, playing forward 70% per Fantasy Freako here for the last 2 rounds.
Get Sam Berry out.
Rounds 1 to 10, he was 67% mid, 33% forward split. So the last 2 rounds, he's basically been the opposite. Are we worried there? Is this a Harry Sheezel level?
You're not going to trade him out. So keep an eye on it. That's it for now.
Okay.
Good numbers, good intel, but surely you don't have enough trades unless you're being really patient and you're paying for league, then maybe you do it. But surely you're upgrading your team, and if those numbers are still the same in 5 weeks' time, then it's luxury trade.
And Zach Merritt, I mean, not a concern in terms of trading out, but playing in defence, he had the most kick-ins of any Essendon player. We mentioned it before, 7 kick-ins on the weekend. It allowed Caldwell to move into the centre more. He was already in there, though. The player that stood up big time in a centre bounce role and looking like one of the big misses at his bargain price, early 500K a few weeks ago. Nick Martin, 68% of the centre bounce attendances for Essendon on the weekend. His most for the season, by far, double what he did the previous week as well. He's basically an inside mid now.
Pretty much.
If he holds this role.
Yeah. Really good as well.
Buy or sell.
There you go. I reckon that's pretty much the targets, guys. Before we do
My top five.
Before we do get to your top five, there's some rookies though, and not just some rookies, Tim.
Yeah.
Some rookies on the bubble.
Is that a song? Think we getting a song?
Going to breeze through this. I think there's some
Breeze through it.
really clear options. So this Angus Clark, 113K, is on the bubble this week. Scores of 97 and 44. 44 was against tough opposition on the weekend. He's projected to go up 50K this week alone with his negative
Need the
73
50K.
break even. Need to get Angus Clark if you didn't jump on already. If you did jump on, now we need the insights here from our man Five Names.
This is his moment.
Journo at the
This
Crows
is
and
his
Port.
moment because this is a big call.
This is huge. Luke Pedler is one of the most traded in players this week. Five Names. 150K forward. Negative 56 break even. Scores of 79 and 67, and he is projected to go up 44K this week. Can we go there?
You said no last week.
On the bubble.
I think you can.
You can.
Yeah, but don't spend and be in the team for a while. Just get that money.
Okay. Short-term cash play, you reckon?
Yes.
10 touches. 5 tackles.
Okay.
That when his Five Name said it last week, I sort of tended to agree that couldn't be sure of his long-term job security, but the Crows were good again. He played his role. I think Angus Clark is the one, but again, if he did go early and you need a downgrade, then he at least gets a couple of weeks, you'd think.
And finally, the rat.
No.
Rory Atkins. Rory Atkins on the bubble. 1 break even.
No.
Fresh off 104.
No.
before
Kane
the
Farrell's coming back.
No.
Josh Sinn's coming back. Sava Radaglia coming back.
No.
Okay, all
Someone
right.
else is coming back. Darcy Burns-Jones is coming back.
Mid-season draftee Tom McCarthy. We talked about him. Defender mid, 99K. Okay. Now I've got his waffle numbers here. 114 Supercoach points in the waffle on his first game for West Coast. 26 disposals with 19 kicks on the weekend. 77% disposal efficiency. I think you can safely bring him in.
Bloke's never
early.
played AFL foot in his
Never
life.
played 99K.
Playing in the Bush League.
Lock him in. The
Last
coach is
year.
already telling him what role he's playing. Yeah, you're going to be a defender and a midfielder. He's playing AFL. So he's in. Is it okay to go early on a Zach Johnson? Do we think his job security? 113K mid. Playing defence though. 48 debut. On debut, low Tom on ground in versus Brisbane. Keep it. We can wait a week on him. All right. I think that's pretty much 3 guys that have played more than 3 games. Still going up in cash. Is it too late for Campbell Gray? 173K defender forward. You guys, I think, jumped on. I missed the boat going on the GOAT, Isaac Keeler. What a game early for him. Could you go Campbell Gray?
Would you probably go Keeler before you go Gray, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say so. With
Trying to hide him again, are you? Didn't put him in the run sheet.
That's because he's in my team.
He's cheaper.
So Keeler.
It's cheaper.
He's on the buy. That's why I don't have him. Thank you very much.
That's true. But given we've got Clark's, Pedler, I think you can probably overlook. Campbell Gray is not going to make 100K from here, I don't think.
Okay. Kai Lohman. Now, Phants poo-pooed it last week in a private group chat there. 230K. 11 break even. He's down 150K from last year. So if he goes at what he did last year, 5 names, he's making you 150K back. What do you think on that one? Kicked 3 goals on the weekend. Hadn't kicked a goal all year until last week.
He gets injured way too often.
He does, but that's why it's dirt cheap.
Or maybe a Max Michaelani or something like that plays on him this week, the Friday night.
Okay. So you're saying no to Kai. 230K is a bit tough to pay for when we've got these basement price rookies. And Angus Sheldrick, shout out to him, been a good pick. We thought maybe he'd get a reduced role. He's been in the midfield playing decent time on ground, -5 break even, still too late though. He's similar price to what you paid Phants for McAuliffe.
I think the price is not an issue, but the concern is still there, isn't it?
It is.
Callum Mills comes back in this week. Yes, they've got the Tigers. How sure can we be that he stays in there?
Moment everyone's waiting
I wouldn't
for
go there.
Phants.
Tigers.
Fan of stop targets. Take it away, Phants.
Now,
Your
the
top
nicest thing you ever
targets
said to
for the
me
week.
when you were going through the run sheet, you said, Jeff nailed it again. Found him last week.
Last week was good.
Yep. Number one this week. Now, we don't have many cash cows. We know Angus Clark from the Bombers is number one. Brad Scott's been very happy with him. Yes, he didn't replicate that debut score last week up at the Gabba. But again, lowest break even. We need the cash injection. Bombers have to keep playing him, surely. Number two. Now, I don't like the ride on the coattails of these blokes too much, but another Bomber. Got a buy coming up, but Jai Caldwell, I think, slips in there at number two. If you need a value option, we're going to need all the cash we can get to finish our teams coming out the other side of the buy. So I do like him if you're after some value in the midfield. Number three, Marcus Bontempelli, only below Jai Caldwell because of the price. Again, if you can get to him, if you've saved some cash, maybe it's from a Ryan Maric, as we mentioned before, or a Levi Ashcroft if you go early. Get up to the Bont. Back this week, when the Dogs have a dream run. Not that he needs it. Number four, Tom de Koning slides in there, 530k. Again, as we've mentioned, you've got to need these value guys, these value premiums to finish your team coming out the other side of the buys. Blues got a good run. Tom de Koning, no buy from here, 530. I like it. Number four. Number five, another player coming off the buy, Bailey Dale, 552k. The one I think, out of all the Bulldogs, who's going to benefit from the Marvel Stadium run, the good run from the Dogs the most. Libba, your Bonts, doesn't matter who they're playing. I think Bailey Dale's going to benefit from that run the most. Loves Marvel Stadium. So number five, Bailey Dale, if you need an option in defence.
Huge fans. Some massive targets there. What's your plans, by the way? Now, you said your plans have been thrown out the window.
Not sure.
You don't know yet?
Don't know yet. The plan was going to be, if you listened last week, you would have seen or had heard my my buy around trade plan. Just going to feature
It's in tatters now.
a downgrade this week, or downgrade or two, to get the money for Zak Butters next week. But that plan involved trading Ryan Maric at the buy. Probably going to bring that forward. Maybe get a Tom de Koning in potentially, and then still work on Zak Butters next week. But Angus Clark definitely coming in. Maybe have to do another downgrade to then leave myself enough money for Zak Butters, because he's number one priority next week. Stay tuned at the Phantom SC. I will reveal it later in the week.
Are we going to do questions, Phants?
No questions. We're in the pan this time. Straight to the pan.
Straight to the pan.
Thanks, loyal there, listeners, because we've spoken about him. Our man, Ryan Maric. Now, he's not in the pan.
Oh,
We love Ryan Maric.
oh,
He's our man, the GOAT.
goodness.
What is Andrew McQualter doing? He is in the pan. Can't win a game. Ryan Maric's been one of the revelations of the season. One of their best kicks. He's pushed him to the wing to get a bloke who was playing in the Bush League last year to half back. What's he doing with Ryan Maric? Playing on the wing, no kick-ins. He's ruined Supercoach goal that is Ryan Maric. So Mini McQualter in the pan. Do something. This is gone. We're not listening anymore. Mini McQualter's out. If you're listening, get Ryan Maric back into defence.
Didn't see that coming.
No, that was on the run sheet. That one. If you are listening, he
gotta clean this up.
he just threw my beloved West Coast jersey on the floor. He's having another tanty late in the show here, but yeah, thanks very much for listening. We did put some questions out on Instagram. Maybe Phants will go answer those personally, seeing as he culled the segment there, guys. But appreciate everyone listening. If you do want to get in your ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple, I know the contest for 500 for 5 names has completed. We've got the beautiful hair now. Jeff, definitely check out the Code Sports YouTube channel to check that out. Still go. Still get your rating in. We'll have something maybe for 750.
1,000 ratings to get your private YouTube channel declassified.
Look, guys, it's not going to happen, but we can make a new song. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking maybe a rendition of Mbop by Hanson for 5 names, who will no doubt be the bottom of the pod at the end of the year.
I mean, you are. I would like to see you do another song, because you're a lyrical genius, Dossie.
Yeah. So to
see the
finish,
humid plug.
yeah. Now let's finish off with that. Play it.
Okay.
Let's finish off, because that appeared on the 7 AFL official social accounts
Now, I wonder who's to thank for that.
over the weekend at Beartorius. Did you? Is this your doing? Did you push this to Bear?
He messaged me, actually, our great man, our good friend Bear. He's now a friend of the show again. He's involving us over there at 7AFL, so he can be a friend of the show again, I think. No, he gave me a message out of the blue. Hey, do you have that song available? And I'm like, yeah, it's on me. Private, unlisted.
Gee. Maybe that's what Dean Cox was talking about. Embarrassing and unacceptable when he saw that. How old were you when you did that?
Last year.
Now, we know you're clever,
Yep.
Chief, but pushing yourself on a big national platform, big cool.
Yeah, maybe a cover of that Whistle Telstra song. Maybe I could do that. All right. Anyway, that'll do.
Yep.
I think for the show. Yeah, enjoy that on the way.
Get that
out.
Eagles scarf out the way too. Until Minnie moves him back, we're not talking about the Eagles.
All right. See you guys. Enjoy.